Entertainment is...
Entertainment?
Someone bigger than me.
Madness.
Thank you for leaving them alone.
My job is to be an actor.
Make them laugh.
Make them laugh.
Make them cry. That makes you angry.
How can you be so damn dumb?
I see it as a business.
Who's ready to do a talk show?
But the totality is entertainment.
NBC, where the stars come out at night. The Tonight Show with Jay Leno.
It's The Late Show with David Letterman. All right, maybe you know now.
What you want, especially on late night, is people afraid to turn off the television set.
It's Late Night with Conan O'Brien.
For fear they're going to miss the element that people are going to talk about the next day.
And now, Jay Leno.
People tune in sometimes for the guests, but 90% it's for the host.
Jay
Yeah, people tune into our show because they watch me slowly have a breakdown every night. And it's compelling. I call it compel-a-vision.
I love this job.
I'm as happy as an old prospector. Hey, welcome to the program, ladies and gentlemen. We have a fine show for you tonight.
Folks, we have a great show tonight. Sharon Stone will be out in just a second.
We got some big stars here.
The one, the only Sharon Stone. The one, the only Arnold Schwarzenegger.
There's a place in the schedule where night after night, a galaxy of stars parade into your living room, sit on a couch and have a chat with a friend.
Don't pretend you didn't enjoy that.
Oh, the late night talk show. Well, it would be a conversation as entertainment is the gist of it, and what it is and all late night talk shows almost across the board are the same, even when they claim they're very different. It's a host, generally male, comes out and does a monologue.
Did you see that? 2 feet of snow fell there yesterday. 2 feet of snow. I haven't seen any place that white since the last Texaco board meeting. It was unbelievable.
Then, like, 3 guests come out.
Sandra Bullock, Emma Thompson, Hugh Grant.
And plug something.
The book is Babyhood.
It's a good book, and just a terrific film.
There's a band, usually, to keep things moving along. And the audience just goes, yay, all throughout the whole thing.
The late night landscape is dominated by talk shows. Late at night, almost everyone's at home and plugged into one network or another. So the talk show's atmosphere of relaxed informality just before bedtime has become perhaps the most cost-effective way of getting America's attention.
Compared to a sitcom, we probably spend less in a week than a sitcom does in a week of their production. So it's relatively inexpensive programming for 6-7 million people to watch every night.
Well, they're very cheap to do. That's why. That's number one reason is economics. They're very inexpensive. Everybody in America gets the same amount, $518 or whatever it is, whether it's Arnold Schwarzenegger or somebody you never heard of, and it fills up an hour of time.
People who watch late night are often the same ones that the advertisers are looking for, so it's profitable.
An ABC One demographic drifting off to sleep with the post-hypnotic suggestion to purchase something is an advertiser's and product pusher's dream. So late-night talk shows have become the shop windows of the entertainment industry.
Thank you.
If you want to get crude, they make a lot of money. They're cash cows. I personally bring in hundreds of millions of dollars to the network.
Check it out, baby.
And I'm probably more profitable to General Electric than the turbines they sell to India.
A strong presence in late night gives a network high profile as well as huge profits, so the pressure to dominate in the schedule is immense, and surely must take its toll on the host.
It's a wonderful job. I like all the aspects of it. There's no lifting. There's no paperwork of any kind on my part. Just strolling like an idiot. You just have the fun part of it. Oh, and the money's good, too.
Jay Leno's relaxed affability belies an almost legendary struggle to land what some call the best job in television.
The Tonight Show, the great flagship of all talk shows.
Hey, guys. Hey, Mr. Little.
Johnny Carson, Steve Allen, Jack Parr, Jay Leno.
What do we got?
Is the host of The Tonight Show. He's carrying on the tradition.
That's nothing. You can't see it. Not a close-up. Doesn't work. Go with millions and millions.
Wait, Jay, we have more.
It's the home of kings, The Tonight Show.
Johnny Carson ruled over the most profitable show in NBC's history. On his abdication, two pretenders emerged. NBC's own acerbic late-night host, David Letterman.
Letterman was like total, like, Harvard Lampoon-y type.
Letterman is the guy who created the anti-talk show.
And saw himself as the natural network successor to Carson. But NBC also rated guest host comedian Jay Leno.
Jay's very nice. He tends to attract more of a demo that likes things nicer.
Leno succeeded to the coveted Tonight Show throne.
Write joke, tell joke, get check. It's sort of simple work.
Not that simple, as media rumors of corporate machinations dogged his reign. Finally, two press conferences, called simultaneously by two rival networks on opposite coasts, mapped out a new late-night landscape. On the West Coast...
Let's cut to the chase. I think it's time. Everyone here wants to know what is going on in late night.
On the East Coast, CBS's hastily convened presser.
The most elusive goal was late-night television. It has been for CBS for decades. It's the empty piece in a jigsaw puzzle that's glared at us over the decades. And there seemed, from 2 years ago, 3 years ago, clear to me that there was only one person to fill it.
And the answer is that the host of The Tonight Show will continue to be Mr. Jay Leno.
And would Mr. David Letterman continue to follow him in his 12:30 slot?
When Johnny Carson retired and I was not given the job as host of The Tonight Show, I was disappointed.
Letterman said that it was his dream to host The Tonight Show from the time he was a child, so I think he really wanted that job, and when Jay Leno got it, he was very upset.
You know, with regard to bitterness, I've never considered myself to be a bitter person.
And he took his show to CBS.
So it's a great moment for CBS, excuse the expression, a red Letterman day.
Thus pitching the rival networks head-to-head in lucrative late night.
Thank you. Don't let these NBC guys out of your sight.
Leno's belated coronation was a tetchy affair.
Thank you, thank you. Welcome to NBC, which stands for Never Believe Your Contract. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
We are truly delighted to welcome this great star to the CBS network.
Officially, I found out yesterday. Actually, I heard from the guy in the catering truck who said, you got the job. I said, oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And then later I was told by NBC.
And I think NBC was very disappointed to lose Letterman.
I just want to, at this point, thank these people for certainly their patience. I mean, could it have dragged on a little longer?
I have the job. What we're celebrating is I haven't been fired. Okay, do you understand that? I already have the job. I'm not being fired. Hey, let's get him down here. Hey, he didn't get fired. Boy, that's great. Good for you. But this is a very, very strange situation.
Jay, there were several reports in newspapers today saying that NBC made a final last-ditch attempt to get Letterman and basically to screw you out of a $10 to $18 million deal. How do you feel about that, if that's true?
How do I feel about that? I don't know. Did it work? I mean, hey, do what you got to do.
And also, I would like to thank them for their generosity because...
Letterman inked a deal worth $14 million a year.
This deal certainly would have put a smile on Jack Benny's face. Even in the condition he's in now, he would have...
Do I feel what? No, I don't feel bitter. Please, not for this kind of dough. Please, please, come on. Come on, would you switch places?
Leno closed for a paltry $6 million per annum.
I mean, I'll call you a moron and give you my check and see if you can handle it, all right? I mean, really, okay? Please.
The show will really be much better than we used to do.
You know, I am looking forward to the competition. I think it will be great fun.
I mean, that was a contractual issue, and we said, sure. All right, we'll let you have that one. It'll be a much better show.
I think it'll make late night interesting. Come on, this is fun for you guys, isn't it? Come on, this is fun. You like it.
It'll be a much better show.
All righty, thanks, you guys, and I'll see you in the fall when the war begins again.
Which Letterman initially seemed to win for CBS.
The late night battle.
Continued until a change of fortune for NBC in late night, as Leno pulled The Tonight Show back to the top spot. Meanwhile, there was a job vacancy over at NBC's Late Late slot.
Initially I was... I got this job because David Letterman was doing this show at 12:30 on NBC. Where am I in the hierarchy? I'm that fresh-faced young punk kid who may someday make good.
I was approached in producing and I turned it down.
I was the last person that anyone would have expected to get this job. I was a complete unknown. I was a writer and producer on The Simpsons. I went and had an audition on The Tonight Show set out in Los Angeles. It went pretty well. I remember getting lots of laughs. I remember thinking, this is my big chance, and decided to give me a shot. And here I am.
Oh, baby!
So I think a lot of people tuned in just to see this complete unknown try and take over David Letterman's show. And they thought I was going to just explode and dissolve into a puddle of liquid right there on national TV. And I did. And it was really fun. And the ratings have been high ever since.
For all the late-night talk shows, keeping the ratings high is the target to be hit on a daily basis. Apart from the host, a host of backup production staff must generate an endless stream of fresh material.
We have 100-some people involved with it, but we do 5 shows a week here, 235 in a year.
I mean, it's 16, 18 hours a day, and it's every day. I mean, it's every day. You don't sort of have a day off, ever.
Exactly right.
Okay.
So 5 you'll do wide, and then you'll have Bet coming out.
You know, it's 7 days a week, and I suppose I can get a bit tiresome, but I like that sort of marathon thing as opposed to just a sprint.
Well, the final joke, finally, because we're going to...
Every day, another monologue joke to be tweaked and cue-carded.
So we're in good shape.
Another writers' meeting bursting with ideas. Standards to be maintained. Complicated gags to be rehearsed.
And that's the way the competitors are in Chicago, so...
Is there no way Julie Andrews can do Monday? She wants a
No, I know.
Another top guest to be confirmed.
I mean, you know what it's like. You always get the big names last.
Right.
So, I mean, we've got to cover ourselves.
I think Roseanne would be the only other person.
The main criteria for choosing a guest is, are they in town, and will they do it?
I have some bad news about the truck driving dog. the truck driving dog has run away.
Frequently, Conan, when they get in a bind and the guest cancels or something, they will call you like 2 hours beforehand.
And I'm not kidding. That's what happens a lot. You know, you can't, it's a competitive thing. Sometimes we're just we need a warm body sitting next to me. What does this show have lots of that people love to see?
Color blue?
No, celebrities!
Oh, celebrities!
We have celebrities on the show all the time.
Right.
Hopefully someone famous. Other times, when there are a lot of famous people in town...
We got some tonight, in fact.
That's right. We got celebrities here. You know, you can pick and choose. So it depends. There are times where we can sit back and say, gee, Paul Reiser's in town, but so is some movie star, and we get to kind of choose which one we want on that night. And then there are other times where there's nobody in town, and I'd be thrilled if I could find a local weatherman to sit next to me. So it depends. You know, don't be fooled. We're more desperate than we appear.
Today was an especially trying day because we had no guests. We had Kermit. Gary Shandling was supposed to be on and he got sick, so until like 2 o'clock I don't think we had anybody.
Well, you know, I don't really think of myself as being a celebrity, although I guess I am, you know, a talking frog in show business.
Every person in America was not in Los Angeles today.
There's some deal-making that goes on.
There was one show I was going to go on in New York, and I said, well, I'll do both those shows. There's 2 shows that are on in New York, and they said, well, you can only do one.
I, in general, don't like it.
And the Tonight Show used to be like that. They used to say, well, we won't take a guest if he's going on any other show. But it's, you know, I think that's unfortunate.
If there's someone really great, you know, a big star like Sylvester Stallone or Mel Gibson, and the only way to get them is to take kind of an unknown actor, you know, you do it. You don't let them lead. Maybe you put them later in the show, and you make them do some work on the stage, you know, like paint it or, you know, fill a sandbag or something, carry cable.
These shows are not guest-driven. It's not that people are at home and they decide, oh, you know, on the Tonight Show tonight is XYZ, then I'll tune in. There may be some of that, but it's very little. Basically, you hope that they're tuning in the first place, and then you hope that the appeal of the guest is enough to keep them there. But you have to get them there in the first place, and what gets them there in the first place is the host.
Paul, where's that last joke? Have you got one more? I will do it.
Well, the host has a great deal of pressure because it's his show, and he needs to entertain because that's what the late night talk shows are about. They're about entertainment. So he has to hope that you are a guest that can play along with him and he finds the joke. And if everything's sitting there very dead, everyone feels badly and the audience is bored.
We literally get minute-by-minute ratings. You know, I think in England they'll say, well, over a 6 month period, the show. Here, you go minute by minute. They go now at 12:01. We seem to have dropped with immature boys between 11 and 14. And what happened there? Oh, someone mentioned history. Yeah, okay, try to do something silly there to bring up that little tidbit. I mean, you literally get that. You get this graph that goes like this. And they said, did you cough or something here? Yes. Yeah, because the people switched. Apparently you were coughing. I mean, that's what, it's like a lie detector test. I mean, it literally goes like this rating thing. You go batty, and it's minute, but you get every minute. You get a rating.
It's one of those things where your highs last like 5 minutes, you know, because you're constantly trying to make the show better for the next day.
It's very hard to do an hour of original stuff every day of the week. But at the same time, that's the blessing of it and the kind of addicting quality to the whole thing, is that you do a good one and you desperately want to go back there and do it again and get those laughs the next night. If you do a bad one, you desperately want to go again and right the wrong and prove that you can do a good one. If you do 2 good ones in a row, you want to see if you can do 3. If you do 3 bad ones in a row, you want to do 4 good ones. And it sounds a little nuts, but that is the compelling quality of these shows, the good and the bad, all rolled together in one sandwich. Is that a good metaphor?
The relentless pressure must remain hidden not only from the studio audience who've come for a laugh and a look at some of their favourite star guests, but also from the guests themselves who need to be relaxed.
Jay's very nice. Jay does his best to make you feel comfortable. He's a very gracious, very friendly host, and he comes in before the show and spends time with you, which a lot of hosts would never do.
And I generally like people. I don't find it a particularly stressful job. It's an easy job. You just have the fun part of it. You know, you go down and talk to the young actresses.
I'll be upstairs.
See you, lads. Knock 'em out, baby. You look great.
Thank you.
And when you're on television and you have a big show like this, everybody is nice to you. You go, is that the guy that's the horrible person? Gee, he seemed lovely.
All the money for tonight's show goes for that orphanage in Leeds.
Oh. In my job, I could run into Hitler, and he seemed very nice. You know, he's laughing at my jokes.
It's the Des O'Connor show!
A bad analogy. Bad analogy.
It's Morecambe and Wise.
For the 5th time this week, Jay G's himself up. The Tonight Show has seen every conceivable showbiz celebrity come through its doors.
Let's do this one for the Bronte sisters.
And Jay's success with the show has now firmly established him as a celebrity in his own right, with the entertainment clout that entails.
And Garofalo is on. Ready to.
Perhaps now he can relax.
This is the only job I ever wanted, and I just realized, I'm doing it 5 years now, and I realized, it's only a week ago I realized, I got the job. Your first Tonight Show is a bit like your first girlfriend, you know? You're not very good at it, it's over very quickly, but you just know you want to do it again. It's that type of energy, you know? It wasn't very good, was it? No, she's crying, but all right, let's try it again, you know? It's just your natural enthusiasm carries you through. You know, my first year on the show, I was very polite to everybody just to get them to come back. And then they come back, and then you give them a little dig, and they go, oh, okay, well, that's just Jay kind of giving me a dig. And now they know you. Now you can come on and spar and play and have a good time.
She's 14?
Almost 15.
Ooh, dating. Oh, dating soon. Oh, that must be. Oh, have the Lethal Weapon guy be your. Yeah.
I'm about to do the Jay Leno show. Jay is very relaxed. He's very funny. He's very warm, and Letterman is sort of unpredictable, but he's also, you know, they both really let you do what you're there to do, to talk about the film, mention a couple of funny stories. They actually help you enormously as a guest when you're on their show.
They provide a promotion vehicle for the celebrities and their latest projects. There's about, you know, half a dozen stops they make, and the late night talk shows are definitely a part of the publicity machine in Hollywood.
You know, this new film, Last Dance.
It's a very different thing for me.
Boy, it is really different, and I assume.
But how important a part of the publicity machine are talk shows?
You're asking the guy who says they're not important at all. They're not important at all.
Now, is it true? I heard, are you going to play the villain in the next Batman movie? Is that
yes,
correct?
I play Mr. Freeze.
I
real bad guy.
Now, does Freeze have an accent?
I mean, he will make Terminator look like a babysitter.
Yeah,
believe me.
As far as I'm concerned, you don't have to do that. I could be wrong.
Tell me about this movie. This is like a funny gangster kind of movie, right?
Yeah, it's a gangster comedy.
You're obligated to do press. And also you're probably thinking a little bit, well, my career is kind of, if I can get people to at least see this, then the numbers will read when people read the trades. You know what I mean? Like, so if I can just bait and switch, if I can get people in to see this piece of shit, I just need them to get in, so for the, you know, for the numbers.
Please welcome Kermit the Frog.
Plenty of times people come on where they don't necessarily have a product. You know, in America, it's almost like, ooh, he doesn't have something to sell. What's wrong? His career must not be going well. It's terrible. I mean, it's sort of the opposite, you know. He's on, he doesn't have a movie. Why is he on? Why? Ooh, he must need the work. Yeah, and it's very insecure. I mean, it's almost the exact opposite. I mean, the thing is swung the other way. You know, I've seen people come on with books they wrote 12 years ago. My book is out. You know, and just because they feel they have to have something, a clip. I need a clip.
I've been working on a book. Yeah. I believe you may have a copy of it back there.
Is this it here? It's called...
Yeah, it's about me starting out in
Leading with My Fins?
Yes, Leading with My Fins.
That's the book right there.
We say, think of something, anything. He's going to be at his mom's house for the holidays. Come on, bring him out here. You know, just to have something. You gotta have something.
If you want to be a very, very good talk show guest, you have to speak the same language as the host. You know, otherwise it's just a Tower of Babel.
You comfortable?
I'm very comfortable, thank you. My first language is amphibian.
It's so artificial. You know, it's a chat show, it's called, as if it's sort of very casual and sort of, you know, but you've got an audience to contend with. You know, you've got suddenly a pressure to entertain, you know.
There aren't many who love these types of shows, and the reason is, I mean, the A-list generally are actors and actresses. They're going off of scripts and not being themselves. So suddenly they're putting into a situation in front of a live audience as well as millions at home.
I don't get too nervous. You know, I try to just remain calm and be myself.
And they're also not comfortable when they panel on a talk show being themselves.
As an actor, you sort of, it's fine when you've got another personality to, you know, to hide behind.
They're like doing a character almost.
But when you suddenly, you know, I don't necessarily feel I'm particularly entertaining in real life, but then the pressure to be, you know, suddenly be entertaining and witty and funny and whatever, and say something of note is quite hard.
A problem with frogs getting nervous is we do perspire a bit.
And a lot of them are very nervous about that, you know, so it is tough.
I have a real fear of talk shows. I really do. I don't know what it is. I don't just feel really, I'm embarrassed, I'm shy, or what, I'm never going to come up with something to say. You know, it's just...
They're afraid of looking foolish, you know, or saying the wrong thing. And so it's tough getting those guests.
If you're shy, you don't really want to go on television, particularly not live television.
You only have 5 minutes. I mean, Jay Leno's got all night. He's on the show for a whole hour. If he does badly the first half, he does great the second half, he's got that. But if you go out for 5 minutes and you're so nervous you can't breathe and you don't remember why you're there, or you can't string 5 words together, then you're dying.
But then do people really listen? You know, I don't know. I think it's sort of given that you're not really going to say anything of much sense, you know, and it is a chat show. It's not a deep, you know, character probing.
Ideal guest? Usually anybody from England is a pretty good guest, because most of the English guests have theater background, you know, the West End and all that, and they know how to project to the back row. Emma Thompson is like the ideal guest. She knows how to tell a joke. She knows how to get it across to the people sitting 10 rows back, and they know you have to have a punchline.
Alan Rickman had to do this scene, and he came on the horse, and the horse had blown up like a balloon, so Alan was on the horse like this, you know, because it was huge. That was my audition for Basic Instinct, by the way. I wonder what...
You'd be surprised how many actors, well-known actors, come out on stage, see a live audience, and are frightened to death. They have never been before a live audience. They're just camera actors. And the whole idea is frightening to them. They don't know the story has to have an ending. You see, you've got to have some sort of humorous wrap-up. So you have to work with them a little bit.
And some of them will make up anecdotes. I know, I mean, I don't have that documented. I believe that in my heart, that there are fake anecdotes going around. And there's a lot of actors that go on these shows and act like they're nice people, or act friendly, or just plain folks, just down home. You know, that crazy Kate Capshaw and Steven Spielberg, they're busy picking up the kids' toys. You know, they can't say that enough in interviews about how much they pick up their kids' dirty underwear and Demi Moore and Bruce Willis, they're always with the kids. You know, that just having fun with the kids, because we're just regular folks.
You seem like you'd be a fun dad, kind of a goofball dad, yeah?
Well, it's easy with kids, you know. You feel kind of relaxed around them, and you can be yourself, you know, walk around in your wire front singing opera and do all those kind of things.
Yeah.
They take it, they accept it as normal behavior, so it's...
I find it very hard to believe, you know, I find it hard to believe. And what's wrong with not being regular? They're not regular. They're extraordinary. Their lives are extraordinary. They do something that most people don't do. So why not say, I am extraordinary? And no, maybe I don't spend time picking up my kids' underwear. I have people to do that for me.
Being in show business, the higher up in show business, the more retarded people think you are, because people are amazed that you perform simple tasks. People say, you know, he drove himself to the studio. You know, Jay, he tied that tie himself. And that's a wonderful thing about show business, because the higher you get, the more just mentally deficient you appear to be, and the fact that you can just perform the simplest. It always amazes me when a huge star will come in with the entourage, and they'll say, you know, so-and-so wrote that thank you note herself. Oh, that's something.
What? Yeah, we're okay. Just yeah. Just give me 5 more minutes.
5 more minutes. You got it.
Make it 9. Make it 9.
We're using
I said 9. That was embarrassing. I hope that won't be used on the television show, because people will know that I'm psychotic, which is necessary if you're going to host one of these shows.
Absolutely. Do you usually have fun when you're doing the show, or is it agony for you?
No, well, somewhere in between. I mean, you know, it's only an hour, so how bad can it be?
Well, let's find out. You know, that should be our promo for NBC. Yeah. Late Night with Conan O'Brien, it's only an hour. How bad could it really be?
Well, with Conan, I've known Conan a long time. You do different chunks of conversation on different shows. You know, you don't repeat anecdotes, if you will, or whatever. And so I have different material to talk about tonight, different things I'm going to discuss with Conan tonight.
Well, what happens is the first thing you do is you talk to a producer about what you're going to talk about, so that Jay or Dave knows the questions to ask, and the producer knows, in a roundabout way, the answers that you're going to give. And if you have a long, rambling, boring story, she'll try and shape it for you and give it a punchline or give it some kind of entertainment.
They will do a pre-show interview and say, do you have any funny stories? So you have to go, oh my God, what's a funny story? You'll give them like 3 things. They'll let the host decide which one to use, so you're not quite sure what's going to happen.
It's all about entertaining, and sometimes they'll even change your story to make it entertaining.
You talk to Frank Smiley, who's the segment producer, and he says, well, what are you going to talk about? And even if you are not, you have to give him something, you know, to please him. So, or anyone who works in that job, so that they don't think that the host is going to be twisted in the wind.
Plus, you only have 2 or 3 minutes to say what you have to say, and sometimes you're fodder for their jokes.
So you give them stories, and what, even though it's like a 6-minute segment, they will make you give them like 35, you know, possible things to talk about, and then you may never even get to one of them. So yesterday on the phone, I talked to Frank at like 6:30 p.m. and said, I'm going to talk about A, B, and C. Whether we do that or not, I don't know. And that's how I prepared.
The limo picks you up, and you're usually in it by yourself, and it's a big car, and you hear echoes in your voice. And then you get to the studio.
My name is Janeane Garofalo, and I'm on my way up to the Conan O'Brien show here at 30 Rockefeller Center in New York City. Here I go. Watch me go now.
They send somebody who probably doesn't really even work there, but you don't know that. And they just come up and they say, hi, how are we doing? We love you having here. It's so wonderful. You know, we love everything about you.
Ooh, I never saw that picture before.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And they tell you a whole bunch of stuff to swell your head up, and then they send you downstairs, and then usually the talk show host makes fun of you. And then you leave. And say, they give you a T-shirt and a hat and say, well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Hi. Hi. Oh, there's a...
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Hi.
Thank you.
Is it okay to take a photo? And don't worry about it. Anybody says how you dress. You're fine.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Cheese.
Thank you.
You go on there because you got a movie coming out, and they show a clip from it, and you talk about it. They don't find out very much about you when you're on those shows.
Oh, we're in the lobby, NBC Studios, on our way up to the Conan O'Brien show. I'm still straightening my bangs manually, and here we go. Thank you for carrying that bag.
You're welcome. Actually, we had some stuff for you in here. We should probably
You're kidding.
carry around with you all. Some clippings. Some of your clippings. Oh, this thing ran in Us Magazine of your belly.
Here's me showing my new tattoo around my belly button.
That's a cool
wow.
tattoo.
That's
you
great.
could connect the dots late at night.
Why I don't dress up and do things is because I feel fashion industry, for the most part, ignores me and most women. They're not only ignore you, but insult you in the way that they make sizes that don't go above an 8. Wow, I'm really saying something there, aren't
You
I?
are.
Oh, are we here? I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Gina, she just left. Why is she calling over? Is that Gina? Yeah. It's a line.
Okay, we're not going to do it now.
Oh man, it's a madhouse back there. You know, people running around and looking for makeup and looking for this, that, and the other. And sometimes they have to look for the artist. You know.
I don't know who these people are. They've been following me all. I don't know who they are.
Swap you an empty for a full. Good deal?
Thank you. You're welcome. If you need anything at all, can I get you anything right now?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. This is a note from my friend Amy Polo, who must have been on the show today. Janine, please try and keep the farting to a minimum. Mr. Winwood, that's Steve Winwood, is on the show.
Hello, Steve Winwood.
Has been complaining of a sore throat. Sincerely, Amy Poehler, NBC Flatulence Control.
Is Conan in there?
Conan's in the green room.
Let me just grab him for a second.
Green room.
This is the dressing room that they utilize for any guests of the show, and they put your name on it for the day. So this is where you wait until your time is called or happens on the show, and then you go and sit on the chair that's for you, and you have your own mug when you're out there with your own water.
When you get there, the producer comes to you with a printout and says, okay, he's going to ask you this, you remember your answer, you know, and you kind of rehearse it in some strange little way. And then you go out there and you meet the guy, you know, and then you do this thing and you try and have fun. You know, you try not to answer the way you said you were going to.
Let's see who it is.
Hey.
It's Frank Smiley, the segment producer I told you of earlier.
Everything looks great. Bye.
Wait, let me look at that page. So Conan's gonna. Okay, press to or know where you are. Ask the same questions all the time. Oh, right, are you dating any?
Right, and it'll say Times Square is really developed now.
Right, it's the
Have you seen it? And then you're
seniors,
going to say there's a giant
Starbucks.
Starbucks on Broadway.
Okay. Okay, so the same as Steve McQueen, How Old I Am, Army Brat.
You never talked about Ireland in the last appearance.
Oh, I didn't?
And he has a whole thing about, you know, you talked about McLobster being like the town drunk. See, now that's a tough thing to be in Ireland. Is a town drunk.
See, and then people, letters, we get letters, the Irish aren't drunks.
But Conan can say that because he's Irish. You know what I mean? And he's a really bad drunk. He's a horrible.
Okay.
And he's got lots of
I've
problems
heard
with
Conan
substance
is
abuse.
a bad drunk.
Not to mention his masturbation.
I know. Chronic masturbator.
Yeah, but don't tell anyone.
Chronic compulsive.
But God forbid if anybody in Europe knows that. Yeah.
Sad masturbator. He weeps. He masturbates and weeps in his office before he does the show. But he says it gets him ready to go. So, you know, to each his own. Okay, I got it.
Okay, and the only other thing, if we needed one more thing, parents management training at Bloomingdale's.
No, that was something my mom, who's dead now. Thanks for bringing it up, Frank. When I was younger, I said I wanted to be a comic. She said, just if you could get into a management training program at Bloomingdale's. I don't know why she picked that or why she wanted that, but she felt that would protect me.
It's funny, except for the dead mother.
I'll leave the dead part out.
Okay. All right, so, all right, we're good.
Okay. Bye.
You have a few 15, 20 minutes, half an hour before you have to go on, and you just sort of hang out. Wait till it's your turn. You go into a little cubby hole, there's a mirror, there's a chair, there's a potty. Everyone, you brought your friends, they sit down.
Hi, come on in.
This is Mary Beth.
This is Mary Beth, my friend. Here's your birthday present. We have to do this on this so people think I'm a nice person. Look, I get presents on this. That's an empty box. That's an empty box.
Meanwhile, the door to your dressing room is always, come in, Kate, blah, 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 blah. Close.
Hello, come in.
Checking on you. Everything
I'm
all right?
fine.
Kate, yeah, come in, blah, 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 blah. Close. I mean, 500 people in and out of the dressing room. Watch whoever the host is on television in your room until it's time for you to go down.
That's fine. Such a science.
Well, I get very nervous, which means that I can't breathe and I'm very thirsty, and so I go out with cotton mouth and my heart racing.
I think I giggled all the way through the Jay Leno show and never got a full sentence out.
I don't know anyone who does the talk shows, including people who do them regularly, who doesn't feel like throwing up before they go out there.
And I literally, on the Arsenio Hall show, just stopped in the middle of a sentence and went, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. And there was no laughter, there was nothing. It was awful. It was awful.
Definitely.
It's horrible. It's horrible. The nerves are incredible for me with those things.
That's great.
Because you're so nervous, you only have 5 minutes on this date, and you've got to, you know, make them love you.
That's the boyfriend of the girl who wrote me the note when I came in here.
Oh, really?
How you feeling?
Mr. Leonard.
Your 2 dogs? Oh, the gynecology.
I got 3.
3 dogs?
I have 3. I'm not doing the gynecologist bit. Are you insane?
Yeah.
You know, it's difficult for me to go out in front of an audience. There's so many, you know, seeing the whole audience, everybody staring at you, it's a little nervous, you know, nerve-wracking, makes me a bit nervous.
Creative horn work. Now the band plays us out to a commercial.
I don't even know what instrument it is. Tell us. I'll tell you now.
I'm not very good on them because I feel pressured.
Before you go on, they announce your name, and it's like, and then you're gone. You're out there doing it.
I remember the first time I went on David Letterman. That was my first show. So scared, so afraid, but I had such a great time.
By now, Sandra Bullock is reassuring the host.
Are you having fun with this? Is it silly?
Right now, am I having fun? Well, no, but... Oh, yes.
I'm not particularly funny. I don't make people laugh easily. I'm a serious kind of soul, you know.
Quite often I used to come on too loud, too much, try too hard, get very sweaty.
And I don't go on them very often. I'm not asked to go on them because they know. They know that I'm not good at them.
Now it's just really, don't try to dominate the host. It's his show, and that's really important. Don't try to embarrass the host.
Some talk shows are wonderful. Some, you know, not every experience is great. Sometimes an interview could be like, you know, an autopsy on the living. Sometimes it could be like bobbing for piranha, whether, you know, it depends on if, you know, it's that thing of feeling comfortable enough with the person. It's all related to what they hit you with the moment you walk out. Some interviewers are kind of like, hey, nice to have you here. You're like, ooh, okay, we're ready. Then you come back with, hey, nice to be here. Let's get loud. Let's be loud for no reason. Or sometimes it's very comfortable. Sometimes they have low lighting and people are talking to you like this. It's always nice to have you here. And you went, wow, nice to be back. Thanks very much for the chicken. You know, you want to find the right level.
Everyone has gone into late night as we start off new shows with like, well, this is going to be different from others. We're not going to do so much talk. And then you realize, you know, you're doing 235 shows a year. You better talk because it takes a lot to fill up an hour every day. So I think beyond that, you know, you play off of having a studio audience or not having a studio audience, having a band, not having a band.
One thing's constant.
It's very strange. Normally you're sitting, someone is sitting behind a desk. It's an interview for a job.
A curiously formal piece of office furniture.
Desk, I wish it wasn't there sometimes. You want to just go up and be able to touch the person.
It's where the guests sit, but of course you've seen this on television. Here's what you haven't seen. Look what goes on behind the desk.
Is the desk real? Yeah, I think it's a real desk.
Look, it's a cheap prop.
I mean, it does what a desk, you put things on it and sit behind it.
The desk is probably a protective mechanism for someone like myself being on the show to give the host a bit of distance.
That sense that it's real. I don't think there's no drawers or anything of that nature. I'm not wearing any drawers either.
Then there's the ubiquitous window onto the world of glamorous LA or New York.
The real reason for those cityscapes is to give depth. Because the show has no intellectual depth at all and no emotional depth, you have to give them visual depth.
How about the new game, spray the audience with sewage?
Yeah. It's just a talk show convention. The tie, the jacket. I love the conventions because people get lulled into a false sense of calm by the conventions. They think, oh, he's a nice guy, he's wearing a suit, he's got a desk, there's some pencils there, there's the cityscape behind him, it all looks professional, and then you can act like a complete ass. how to park. Here we go.
All right.
There. And we slowly.
We're off.
There we go.
Yeah.
You want it back? There you go. Andy, you know what?
So that's all you need: a desk, a chair, a band, a city backdrop, and a celebrity guest.
No, I think the host is more essential than the guest because these guests make the circuit of every other show. And what defines the program are the people that are part of the show, myself and Andy, and we define what the program is, and the Max Weinberg 7 and the comedy that we do. That's why people tune into the show. If you want to be completely brutally honest about it, people can see Janeane Garofalo on lots of other shows. The next guest tonight has appeared in the films Reality Bites and The Truth about cats and dogs. Currently, you can see her in
Hi.
You ready to go?
Yes. Here I am, leaving my dressing room on my way to do my segment on the Conan O'Brien Show. My name is Janeane Garofalo.
Hi, Mary. You can do whatever.
Good luck. Janeane, good luck.
Please welcome Janeane Garofalo.
You kind of get rushed out there. You sit in very small chairs. The sets are tiny, especially for someone like me. They're like doll sets.
Someone's told you exactly how to sit on the chair, and you kind of know what you're going to talk about.
But then all of a sudden, like, you get out there and you see the audience staring at you and you realize it's your responsibility to be entertaining in 4 minutes.
And then you sort of kind of remember that this is live going all over the world, but then you can't think about that. And you just try to be with the other person.
Hello.
How you doing, Janeane?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you.
Hey.
How do you know he's talking to you?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. That's terrible. I just displayed horrible ego, didn't I?
Yes, you did, and your hands are freezing.
Because it's freezing back there.
Yes.
It's freezing while you wait.
It's always freezing. And there's always all this, it's live, get out, there's all this tension that everyone is sort of hiding,
How you enjoying your big press junket here for the movie? You having a good time?
Oh, yeah. Well, when you have a movie come out for 3 weeks, you get asked like the same 5 questions over and over and over again to the point where your brain becomes like clay.
No, first 2 years solid of this show, every interview I did, whoa, David Letterman, pretty big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
Again and again and again.
Yep.
And it got to the point where you'd get that question and you were just speaking, but it was robotic.
Oh, I know.
Yes, I have a lot of respect for him, but we're going to try to go our own way and do our own thing.
Yeah, no, it's totally true.
Do you like it here? I mean, because it's changed. New York, everyone who's been in New York a lot is not happy with the changes. They're cranky about the changes. They're
You're
saying,
leading me somewhere, and I don't know where you're leading me with this.
I'm leading to a story about how handsome I am.
I must be
Story
addled. My
was-
brain is addled. Which?
I'm just making conversation.
Are you really?
There's no prearranged story here.
I'm sorry. I thought that. I'm confused. I hate to break the magic of the moment, but I, honest to God, don't know where to go with that.
I was just chatting. There's no
you're
prearranged. We don't
genuinely?
prearrange stories on this show. It's just
No,
chit-chat.
I'm not accusing you of prearranging. I
There's
just
no
don't know.
prearrange. It's the story about Starbucks and.
Starbucks.
Yeah.
Okay. Starbucks. Well, that was an odd way to entree into it. I was told you were going to say there's no Starbucks.
There's no
in Ireland.
discussion before the show about how we're going to get into something. That just doesn't happen. She's crazy.
I know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Show host.
Springsteen's not the boss. I'm the boss.
You got a bit out of it. You got a comedy bit out of it.
That wasn't a bit. I just wet myself.
Oh. We're gonna have to save the story for next time because
What story?
The Starbucks. Oh.
Janeane Garofalo, we always love it when you're here. Thanks a lot for coming.
Thank you for
Best
having
of luck
me.
with the movie.
Thank
and next
you.
time, let's prearrange something.
We'll be right back.
In case she comes out now.
So how was it?
Oh,
was fine, except for the fact that I didn't know what story I was supposed to be being led into, and so I panicked.
I thought it was funny. It was weird, but I liked that. We were making fun of, there's no talk show, what are you talking about? And the audience picks up on that. It gives you something fun, you know.
How spontaneous is the whole thing out there? That was because I obviously had a brain glitch and didn't remember what I was supposed to say. So we talked about it, and then Conan's outburst was spontaneous.
So that was fun. That was TV.
It was. That's TV for you. That's what it's about.
I don't think anybody's had an interview with Janeane Garofalo like the one I just had, where I started screaming at her and pretending to have a nervous breakdown. It's a little different, and saying, you know, cuckoo, you're crazy. I mean, the interview we had tonight was really fun because the interview fell apart, and we had fun with that and made fun of it. You know, guys, I'll just come out, okay?
Are we really bothering you?
Yeah, I'll come out, okay? Because I was in the middle of something really good about my upper body. I'll come out. Don't worry about it. Sorry about that.
Publicist, right?
Yeah, what are you going to do?
I know. When you're a star.
But isn't she beautiful?
I know her. She's really nice.
Oh, my God, that was on camera.
I know her.
That is so embarrassing. Oh, well.
The guests' 15 minutes of friendly banter are over. Everyone's happy. The stars have helped push their latest product. The show has filled airtime cheaply and entertainingly.
Just get right up there.
And the host has another 500 friendly chats to look forward to this year.
So the host is of utmost importance. The celebrity guests, they're nothing.
Does the show make the star, or does the star make the show? I think that's a good question.
Because I'm always amazed at what people respond to in terms of, you know, you could have a big guest on, and then people stop you the next day in the street and say, hey, do you really have a cat? And you go, yeah. Oh, well, yeah, I have a cat, too. What's your cat like? And, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger was on. Oh, well, yeah, I saw that. But tell me about your cat. And then, you know, it's those small moments. You know, people are sitting in bed in America watching the show, and how your life relates to their life is important. If you have similar interests and like the same things, there's sort of a bond there because they're seeing you every single day. You know, when you get letters from people that say, oh, I am a nurse, or I'm a policeman, and you talk to people who deal with just the worst possible side of people all the time, and they say, oh, you know, I enjoy coming home at night, and I get in bed, I turn on your show, and you have a few laughs, and you give me a laugh before I go to bed. Well, that's really the idea of the program.
And for that simple task, you'll earn between $2 and $14 million a year, helping to keep the wheels of the entertainment industry turning.
I don't know what entertains people. Sometimes I think that our show isn't even that entertaining. The people at home are really lonely. I'm shocked. When most people meet me and tell me that they're a regular viewer of the show, they soon afterwards describe the medical ailment that keeps them up at night. People say, Conan, I watch your show every night. And I say, well, thank you. And they go, yeah, I have this rash on my hand, and it burns at night, and I have to get up at 12:30 and put a salve on it, a cortisone salve, and then I notice your show's on and I watch it. That's usually how it happens. So I don't have a big ego. Anyone that, you know, my core audience, the core audience for our program that's on at 12:30 at night are people in institutions, penitentiaries, the mentally insane, and people with some kind of physical ailment, and mothers with newborn babies. And so if I can exploit those people, then I'm the better man for it. You're supposed to interrupt me after 5 minutes. I want every these people fired. I want you hired. Hello. Hello. I generate a lot of money for the network. Leno generates tons of money for the network. Letterman generates a lot of money for his network. That's eventually the reason that they keep us on the air. It has nothing to do with artistic integrity. I found that out about a week ago. And I was really disillusioned that the networks want to make money. I'm still not over it. I'm on antibiotics.